Hi, and welcome to the SEO podcast, Unknown Secrets of Internet Marketing. My name is Chris Burris, owner of eWebStyle.
I am Charles Lewis, your internet marketing specialist.
Welcome back to another fun-filled edition of our podcast. This is podcast number 273. If you notice that my voice is a little different, do not worry. Do not worry. It is not as painful as it sounds.
It does sound painful.
As always, there is a tip from our previous podcast, and this is previous podcast was 272. When developing ideas for content, consult with other team members like sales or customer service or product managers.
Yeah, anytime you're working on content, especially if you're doing some sort of content marketing and blogging or putting out infographics or different how-to guides or whatever is part of your content marketing strategy, then consult with other team members. Why would you do that? Well, by getting with salespeople, maybe they can tell you some of the biggest objections and rebuttals that they have to give. And then that's stuff you can use in your content to begin addressing that. Because if salespeople are getting asked those questions, people are probably searching for it as well. Same thing with product managers. Maybe people ask these same common questions about the features or benefits of a certain product or service you offer. Blog about that, create content about that to support it. Why? Because if the product managers are getting asked these questions, people are likely searching for these questions. And so that way you'll have the content to support what the actual people you're trying to market to is actually looking for.
Boom.
Consult with your team. It's always a good deal.
Great source for good information, for good concepts for articles.
Definitely.
Please remember, we're broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and we are your friendly local neighborhood top position snatchers, where our mantra is
Don't be a douche.
And today we have an article.
That is not a good look.
No, douching is not a good look.
Yeah.
Today we've got an article. What is our article?
Oh man, so punch in the face to Tom Demers. Got this article from Search Engine Journal. He says 5 very common SEO mistakes you may make when redesigning your site. Pretty good article. We do a lot of site redesigns that lead right into SEO. And so I thought this article would be helpful to us and to our listeners.
All right. Sounds good. If you can, tweet now. You've got a device around you. What should they tweet, Chuck?
Well, if you're watching, then you see what to tweet. Hashtag SEO Podcast. Be sure to tag us in it at eWebStyle, at Best SEO Podcast. That way we can follow you back and do all of our social networking stuff.
Hey, I got great news. We're going to skip our social media section where we kind of tell you what social media and where to leave reviews and all of that good stuff, because we have added 11 Twitter followers since the last podcast. The way that works is if we add 10 or more in any one of our on any one of our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or 2G Plus pages, which may be reduced soon. Then if we get any more than 10, then we're going to skip that section. So what's next?
And we happen to get 10 this week. So punch in the face to you guys. I followed all you back about an hour ago. So hit us up.
And that section is really about getting reviews. We do tell you how to haunt us or stalk us, and there are a number of ways to do that. You can do that at facebook.com/eWebStyle, twitter.com/eWebStyle, youtube.com/eWebStyle, and instagram.com/eWebStyle. If you're a PHP expert or you're a WordPress genius, then we're probably looking for you. Give us a call, submit an audio resume. The number is 713-510-7846. If you're interested in a free website analysis, go to our webpage, e-webstyle.com, and you will find what you're looking for there.
Free website analysis. Click it, submit your site. We'll even follow up with you and get some background information, make sure we understand what your objective is. Then we'll give you that free website analysis and see what you can do with it.
Cool. And if you submit it and you need it pretty quickly, make sure to reach out to us. Definitely. We're a little backlogged. We got any algo?
We got some algo.
We got a little algo.
It's the countdown to Mopocalypse.
Well, and that too. We should throw that in too.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll do that. All right. So our favorite segment of the podcast is the algorithm cataclysm. Yeah, that's the, even with the throat. I think the throat added to it, right?
Yeah, it made it sound like it was raining.
It is raining down from above, the cataclysm.
Yeah, so we're gonna stay on course with our with Danny Sullivan's Mopocalypse as our algo cat. Google has already released the statement. April 21st is when the rollout starts, and I think it's gonna take about a week. And so you need to, especially since they've released a date, They've never done that.
Yeah.
This is the date this algorithm is rolling out.
So it is going to be a
Dude, they've released the tool.
apocalypse.
It's going to be a Mopocalypse. If your site isn't ready, here's what you do. Go to google.com/webmasters/tools/mobile-friendly. Google.com/webmasters/tools.
We'll put that on our Facebook page too.
Yeah, /mobile-friendly. Mobile-friendly. And of course, you have to be logged in Webmaster Tools when you get there. But it's pretty simple. That page will take you there. You put in your web address, hit submit. It takes about 45 seconds, and then it's going to spit back that all green. Yes, your site is mobile friendly, nothing to worry about. Or red, your site is not mobile friendly because of blah, 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 blah. Do that, fix it. Like, don't be impacted by the Mopocalypse.
Yep.
Better yet, be impacted positively.
Yeah, don't be on the wrong end of Mopocalypse.
Exactly. And you be impacted positively. And the second algo cat is the breakup of Google Plus.
Yeah.
Ironically, not that surprising when you look at Google Buzz and Google Wave and these sort of things.
Yeah,
Like, they
yeah.
just struggle with social media.
Yep.
And that's not a complete breakup because Google Plus has some great things. Like their photo sharing is an awesome deal. Their automatic backup to virtual libraries is an awesome deal because of my recently upgraded phones. And since all my images was automatically backing up, I didn't have to worry about the images that was in my old phone's gallery.
Yep.
They were
How
already
sweet was
online.
that?
That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
The images that I forgot were there was there. And
Oh, that's there.
yeah, exactly.
Better delete that one.
Exactly. And so from that reason there, and of course with
Snapchat didn't exist yet.
with the hangouts and the streaming you can do and things like that, that's going to be categorized to one deal. But the other stuff, like I believe the authorship and the pluses and that kind of stuff, yeah, I don't know if they're going to get rid of it or if they're just going to table that to another time.
Yeah.
And so I think at the end of the day, it might be the smart thing to do. Try to put some resources on the thing that people are actually using.
Yep. Makes sense. All right, so that was our algorithm cataclysm. Next, we got a little bit of news. This is on our Facebook page. I just thought it was funny and worth bringing up. Chuck Norris doesn't write code. He stares at a computer screen until he gets the program he wants. That's just awesome.
Yeah, Chuck Norris is a beast.
Japan orders Google to delete critical review of a medical clinic.
Mm-hmm.
And so this just has I saw this and I thought, if you ever think your life and your business and your job are complex, Google has to navigate international waters and international laws and then recognize, okay, they could easily acquiesce and do it. And then what are the implications through the rest of the world?
Is it worth us doing it? Should we fight that? Should we not fight that? Do we have to fight that knowing that we're not going to win? We're just going to actually win for somebody else.
Yeah.
Our loss could be somebody else's win, and sometimes that's necessary. And when you're in a position like Google.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Hey, punch in the face to Amazon for being the opposite of Yelp. Suing so there's a website, Buy Amazon Reviews. And so you can buy reviews. They were fairly sophisticated in that whoever they were going to do a review for on behalf of the person, participating in the Amazon marketplace, they would have them ship them an empty box. Mm-hmm. So they had a shipping record, right? So they got into some detail to do this.
So we can actually experience your service.
It was all BS, right?
Yeah, of course.
They were just writing
an empty box.
Yeah. And then you proceed to write a good review about the product. So
that's empty.
I'm happy to see that. Now, here's a little bit of irony given our G Plus news. Pew Research has said that 33% of teens are on G Plus.
Yeah, but ironically, I believe that's
maybe just the photos.
Well, no, I think it's because the growth of Google Chrome. And so G Plus is one of those things that kind of ties you in to all your other Google services across the browser.
Right.
Right. So whether you're AdWords, whether you're analytics, whether you're YouTube, whatever you're doing, Google Plus is the reason why I don't have to continuously log in each time. I'm already logged in.
Right.
And so I think that's part of the growth when you consider, all these Android users and younger people, and Google Plus being the prominently focused on all the latest versions of Android. I could see that growth.
Yeah, I just thought it was cool because now they're
and it has great picture management. Now, if they roll out a whole bunch of filtering and some options and stuff like that, then they may even see that double.
Cool. So you notice I have a half a tear
It was
tattoo.
a hollow. It was like
So
tatted,
it's
but
yeah, they got
wasn't
the
filled in.
you're right. They got the framework, the trace in. And then I found this, so I stopped, but I didn't feel like we could erase it. And there's a lot of irony in this. So we on Facebook, somebody posted a review, and I wrote back to them and I said, we will be reading your review live on the air in 15 minutes. Thank you. This is obviously back in February. I was halfway through adding my tear tattoo when your review came in, so I was very appreciative. And then I wrote, hey, then they wrote back, hey, Chris, what podcast number? So I've got to look that up. I would love to have my husband hear it, and yes, it's Mrs. Control. Makes more sense now, doesn't it? Interesting, because that was hello, Mr. Control. The control part, I mean, Mrs. Control.
Yeah.
That's good. For some reason, your recent podcasts are not downloading for me. And then she drew a sad face. That was her tear tattoo.
Oh, Mrs. Control.
So I ended up with a half a tear tattoo because it wasn't really a review. It was just fun interaction
Yeah.
with our listener base. So
Yeah,
thank you
and well,
guys.
and she finished the tattoo because she has one. So
Yeah.
Mrs. Control, punch in the face to you. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for trying to convert your hubby. Yeah, this is 273. But if you want to reference this one,
Yeah.
although you probably won't hear it for 2 weeks, since
Yeah.
apparently you can't download.
Yeah, it's a little behind. So we're getting caught up. We're almost there. And I'll reach out to her through Facebook and let her know what podcast that is. So we got any tips?
Well, yeah, I got a couple of tips and a little bit of news as well. We got that news first. So dig this. I thought this was interesting. Microsoft partnered with Getty Images
Okay. Yeah.
to bring new images.
So for people who don't know, Getty Images is where you can get a lot of
the biggest image
storage depot, and you can buy them, and
online
they have free
image,
ones.
videos, all kind of stuff. You can get some free, some royalties, stock free, all these kind of images that you can use. Ironically, they were just in a lawsuit.
Right.
They were in a lawsuit because Microsoft created this widget, this Bing widget, right, where you could put it on your site and display images from the Microsoft search. Problem is Getty Images was shown in the Microsoft search.
Wow.
And so on my site, I could feature Getty Images without giving them any credit, right?
Wow.
Getty was like, hey,
That's not cool.
That ain't cool at all.
I'm thinking that they were going to call them a douche.
Exactly. Ironically, the day after they settled the lawsuit, they formed a partnership. Literally, the next day.
Wow.
So here's your money. We're going to pay you our bad, and hey,
Let's partner up.
let's partner up because you have great images, and we need to improve our image selection.
Yeah.
And so now, to be safe, don't go image searching on Bing and using images. Right?
Period, yeah.
You need to, because they're still, Gettys. So I thought that was interesting. Also, dig this. WordPress plugin, SEO by Yoast, vulnerable to hackers. So they released a statement. They said all versions of SEO by Yoast prior to 1.7.3.3, they released a patch, but you need to go upgrade it and upgrade your version of the plugin. And do that pretty quickly. I was glad that they hopped on it immediately and fixed it because I use SEO by Yoast.
Yeah.
And then in regards to the petiffs, had a couple petiffs. This one goes to Hoax and Change. Hit us up on Twitter. He says, at eWebstyle, thanks for the SEO information. You both are a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you. At your
Appreciate
service.
that. Yeah. I'm glad it's helping you. And this one comes from Old Guard Audio. These at Old Guard Audio. He says, I'm at eWebstyle doing a great job, men. The podcast is very informative, and I have already made improvements to my site based on your info.
That's what's up.
Dude, punch in the face to you, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's working. I'm interested in knowing
The results.
Yeah, what results? What
Yeah.
changes did you implement? And tweet me back a link to the site. Be glad to check it out.
Very cool. That is the potatoes of our podcast. It is time to get into the meat.
Definitely. So like we said earlier, man, I want to give a punch in the face to Tom Demiris over at Search Engine Journal. Released this article, 5 very common SEO mistakes you may be making when you redesign your site. Like I said earlier, we do a lot of site redesigns. People come to us all the time, and we're going to do some SEO or we're going to do some pay-per-click, and we realize that your site's really not in a position to receive traffic.
People walk in the door like, I want to spend $2,000 a month on pay-per-click, and we pull up the website, and you're like, no,
you don't.
Not
Not right now.
yet.
Yeah, let's make some changes first. And so we find ourselves redesigning, right? And so I like this because he talked about the redesign. He said, in regards to the purpose, the design might be better, the conversion might be stronger, your messaging or branding might be tighter, but you may see a steep drop in SEO traffic. And that can happen anytime you redesign a website, especially if you make some of these mistakes that we're going to get into right now. So number one, he says your development site is indexed and your main site isn't. That just kind of sucks. And unfortunately, I've seen it happen.
Yep.
People have a beta site or a development site or some other subdomain-based site. We use an IP address-based kind of production server. And sometimes, they can get indexed. And so you have to be sharp enough to not do that. He says, in case the development version of your site, you want to make sure the content is explicitly blocked from appearing in Google search results. And then he goes on to say there are actually two fairly ways to do this, right? So a robots directive.
Text file,
do a robots text file and block it. Block all development, block all staging, block that URL, whatever it is.
Just make sure you remove that when you launch.
Yeah, definitely. And then the second one is a meta no index tag in your meta tags on each page. I would kind of prefer the first method, just robots text one step, and do it that way. But some of the reasons you want to do that, he really didn't get into, and so I'll give them to you. Right? Anytime you have that site up, you run a dupe content issue. Yep. First off, because that content is the same that's on your live site. More importantly, that dupe content is probably not complete. It's a production site. It was a development site, so probably contains some broken links, maybe some test pages, and all kind of stuff. Maybe placeholder images and things like that, because you were just developing on there. So last thing you want is that content to actually rank and be clicked, because it's incomplete and it's bad. So for that reason itself, don't allow your development site to be indexed. Number two, he says your analytics isn't installed properly.
Ooh.
Oh, Tom, that was a good one. I was just dealing with this right now. Because a lot of times, especially when you're dealing with different developers and different production people and a different marketing person, right? You may end up with different code on your site, which is why one of the things that sets eWeb apart is we work with your existing stuff. So if you already have analytics set up, then I'm not going to go create you a new analytics account. We're going to use your existing one. And then that way I may add myself as a user or add us as a user so we can use it. But, it's worth it to keep that same historical data.
Absolutely.
We need that. Or worse, maybe you had some other marketing companies use it. And the example I'm dealing with now with certain client, they have, 5 different views of the data. Some of it's filtered, some of it's not, some of it's blocking IPs, some of it isn't, and
I think what you're trying to say is it's broke.
It's broke, exactly. So I had to go through and figure out which one of these views was the right one, and then go in and remove the others and clean it all up. And so, the way this happens is people create new profiles, or maybe you got different subdomains. Right? And so you didn't make the right change in analytics, and so it's just reporting no traffic or minimal traffic, and it's just because the code isn't right. I'll add at this, which Tom didn't talk about. Don't forget to adjust your goals, because if your URL structure changed, which we'll get to here next, then your thank you page probably changed, right? How you collect those conversions is probably different. And so as you update your analytics, be sure to update your goals. I'll take it a step further. Make sure you bring over your remarketing code. Since you're updating Google Scripts, they should be kind of together anyway. Keep your code clean. Make sure all of that's updated during the redesign, so that way you won't continue to lose your audience list or have pages that aren't being tracked effectively.
Yep.
3. He says you inadvertently changed your leak structure and URLs. And it
inadvertently is a
is
a generous term. I think stupidly.
well, inadvertently in you probably didn't know. I think about the growth of WordPress and the people who, all the do-it-yourselfers we've dealt with, people who came in and I set up a WordPress site and did this. Yeah, I could see inadvertently happening. With those people, And so he says, and this happens when you move content.
I'm gonna go back to stupid, and I gotta say, and my argument is they shouldn't be doing it.
They shouldn't be doing it.
If you don't know that you could inadvertently do this, then
Don't
you're
do
doing
it.
it stupidly.
Got you. I co-sign.
It's both. Yeah, it's both.
Yeah, you inadvertently stupid.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. That works.
Okay, it works. Okay, so yeah, if you make one of those IES, we can call that IES, one of those IES moves,
Yep.
inadvertently stupid
Yep.
moves, and it happens for several reasons, right? Maybe you move some content around. For example, maybe you have a blog, and at first it was blog.yourwebsite.com, right? And then your WordPress guy told you that, man, you really should put this in a folder, and so you redesign your site, and now your new site is mywebsite.com/blog, right? That's a URL change. And so if you don't handle that accordingly, all of the links and things like that you had pointing to the first subdomain will be broken. And so you have to redirect your pages is my solution to that. Anytime he went on to say that identify the pages with link equity, meaning the pages that actually have link juice, people pointing to those and they're linking out, and make sure you definitely 301 redirect those. We take it a step further here. We want 301 all of your pages. No matter how many pages you had, once we redesign your site, all of your old pages will point to the newer version of that page.
And even if there was consolidation, we'll make sure that
we'll
the
make
pages
sure
that
that
were consolidated go to the right page.
pages, and that's by design. That's thank you for Javier for doing that.
I texted him.
Yeah. Oh, you did.
Yeah.
And so monitor your URLs. And one of the things we also do is we create a custom 404 page, right? Because if you've been through 2 or 3 redesigns, there may be links out there that we're just
Even older.
older that may still get traffic depending on where that link is. And so with the custom 404 page, it's not a horrible experience. At the very least, they do know they're in the right spot and the navigation's there, and maybe you put some nice messaging there to help.
Maybe a
them
nice
do that.
photo.
Exactly, or something.
2 dudes with some swag.
Exactly. Great 404 page. So so number 3, man, watch your link structure when redesigning your site.
4.
Number 4, he says you're using new code and new features. It happens. It's a redesign. People usually redesign because they want to upgrade, because they want to add new features, and so that's to be expected. But maybe you've done some things like, I don't know, changing your site's pagination. It's a new feature. Huge SEO. It affects your SEO one way or the other. It could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you do it, right? Maybe you change your site's title tag structure. Now, let me stop here and get on my soapbox for a minute. In regards to using new code and new features, and we're talking WordPress, right? So maybe you're a newbie to SEO, and I say this out of experience.
Right.
Logged into an account yesterday, and the guy has all-in-one SEO plugin installed.
Yep.
He has SEO Ultimate installed, and he has Yoast by SEO by Yoast installed, and they're all activated.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, dude, so which one of these is controlling your title tags? Which one are you
really
using
good
familiar
question.
information? And why isn't this page updating? Man, because you got too many plugins all controlling the same thing. And so when you're using new code and adding new features to your site and new things like that, consider how that's going to affect the back end of your site. Because this could very well confuse the search engine. Like, we don't know which title to display, and the WordPress doesn't even know which title to show, because you just got too much new code going on. Simplify it when possible. Or maybe it's an e-com site, right? Maybe it's still WordPress and you just added the WooCommerce plugin because you have 10 products you want to sell. Great. But now what you did by adding that is you added a cart section, you've added a checkout section, you've added product pages, you've added literally probably 40 or 50 new pages to your sitemap. That's going to require some submission. That's going to require some monitoring, some new sitemap to be sent to Webmaster Tools, and new indexing and all kind of stuff. And so anytime you're upgrading and you're adding those new type of features, be sure to just document it correctly, update Webmaster Tools, and do your 301s so you don't have an adverse effect while trying to redesign your site. Last one, number 5.
5.
He says, and this is a good one, your messaging no longer aligns with your keyword strategy. Right? You're redesigning, maybe you're rebranding, you're doing whatever, but your site ranked for these certain terms. But now you're realizing that you don't want to just write for the search no more. You're really trying to, write for the audience and change
type of message, change the messaging.
This and that. And so, but you haven't really, you don't want to lose that rank, right? And so you didn't change your SEO. Well, that's just not a good experience. It's not a good experience at all, not for Google or the user. Your site may rank, but once you change the content, probably not. But it's not a consistent messaging. It's not a consistent across the board messaging. And it's just not a good experience for the user. Matter of fact, he says a final issue with site redesigns is that frequently have a negative impact on SEO results when the site's content changes to fit new messaging and leaves previously effective keyword strategy behind. And so what I added to that was rewrite, re-optimize, and redirect.
Yep.
Rewrite that content. If you're changing your messaging, great. Most people need to do that. Take their time, rewrite it. But re-optimize. Go and visit those images. Go visit those titles. Go visit that meta information. Go visit those links and make sure that they all communicate the same message that you're rewriting. And then redirect. Check all those URLs. Check everything else you have pointing and going out, and make sure that they're going out and pointing to the right places with the new right content. So that way, that bad experience of wrong optimization and different messaging isn't there. In closing, Tom said the takeaway is pretty simple. The intention behind change is to improve your site with some capacity. The trick is knowing what changes may be weakening your ability to rank in the search. And that's a great close, Tom, and I totally agree. At the end of the day, redesigns are necessary. And that's why I kind of come back to us. That's why it's good to use an agency like ours who handles both of them, right? Your redesign and your marketing.
I know I gave a quote to a prospect a while back about migrating the website. Mm-hmm. And they came back and were like, why is this so expensive? What's going on? Because all the details that we just cover, they had a rather large site. Yep. All of them have to be checked and rechecked and triple checked, or the value you have goes away. I mean, imagine if you're 60% of your business comes from the web, comes from organic search, then it's not how much you're paying us for our time to do it necessarily that you should be calculating. You should be calculating how much is it going to cost me if it's done wrong. 60% of your business for 1, 2, 4, 8 months is a problem. It's a problem. It makes our fee look like, I should have given them half of my losses, and I'd be 100 times better than where I was. Exactly. So it's pretty important when you do those launches, and it needs to be done thoroughly.
Yeah, people don't consider how much traffic comes from there. I mean, one of the reasons we meet with clients every month to go over traffic, where is traffic coming from, what they did on your site. So that way, when we make these kind of changes, we can gauge. If you're getting 1,000 visits a month from certain phrases, and you lose that, and maybe it drops down to 400 visits a month, how does that impact your bottom line? Probably significantly. And so, you want to make sure that doesn't happen. Punch in the face to you, Tom. 5 common mistakes you may make when redesigning your site. Great article, man. We'll share it on Facebook. We'll tweet it out shortly.
Very cool. All right. Do we have any what? Or any?
Well, yeah, I did have some what news. I thought this was interesting.
What? I got no high pitch there. Yeah.
So this what goes to Sprint and to our federal government.
Okay.
Right. So dig this.
It's a good combination.
Ironically. So the federal government, including the DEA and immigration and all of these people, they have the ability to put wiretaps on people, right?
Yep.
And so certain agencies, Sprint, T-Mobile, AT&T, Comcast, whoever, if they get an order by the government that we need to tap these lines, they have to do it. Right? And then, of course, they get to charge for those services. And so Sprint was apparently inflating their charges that they were charging to the government. So the way that contract was set was that Sprint could charge them for doing the labor behind the wiretap, and that's it. Not for upgrading or the cost to keep the network maintained or the cost and all of this. Well, Sprint was like, well, we've been charging for all that anyway.
Yeah.
And so anyway, they settled. The government was suing Sprint for $21 million, and they settled for $15 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
$15 million of overcharges.
I mean,
to the government.
To the government, like, I'm surprised from 2 reasons. One, that Sprint, I'm not really surprised that Sprint was doing it. I'm surprised the government settled for 15.
I'm surprised they caught it.
I know,
they have such a history of not catching it.
Exactly. That they actually caught it.
$300 for a hammer? Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah. So that's some, my what news.
That is some what news.
To Sprint.
All right, listen. If you want to grow your business with the largest, simplest marketing tool on the planet,
the internet,
Call eWebStyle for increased revenue in your business. Our phone number is 713-592-6724. If you have a referral for us, I just cut a referral check today. You have a referral for us, somebody who wants SEO, you don't want to handle it, or it's not in your range for whatever reason, send them to us. They pay their bill. We pay you. I am also the co-host now of Creative Biz Ideas, which is a radio show on Monday mornings, Blog Talk Radio. So make sure you're connected to our Twitter account because I'll be tweeting before we go on air. It's a good show. We talk about business in general. We get pretty general on this podcast. It's just a little more general. My co-host is
Trying to face the Nolan.
Is a video production marketing specialist. So it's a really good show. We have as much fun on that show as we have here. So you'll have a good time listening to Creative Biz Ideas. Funny how that works.
Exactly.
We were filmed live here at 5999 West 34th Street, Suite 106, Houston, Texas 77092. We are the most popular internet marketing podcast because of all you all.
You right there.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Until the next podcast, my name is Chris Burris.
Charles Lewis.
Bye-bye for now.